This is the Peugeot 5008. Yes, a massively crowded market. Yes, another SUV that can carry up to 7 people. And in this case, it's fully electric. But what's it actually like? And should it be on your shortlist if you're car shopping right now? Let's take a deep dive here on Nobby on Cars. You can get it in a mild hybrid also, but here's the dilemma. Peugeot Ireland have made the car the same price. It's €51,000 for an Allure version, whether you have a 1.2 136 brake horsepower version or a 210 rear-wheel drive EV version. So why would you go petrol? Now, so far with sales this year, 70% of people have gone petrol with 30 going for EV, and I can't figure out why. It wouldn't be a 5008 without some line claw marks here. There's just 2 trims now, Allure and GT, and that's also the same price if you go EV or petrol. And on the GT version, the grille matches the colour of the car with specs here. It looks nice. This is a radar cruise for adaptive cruise control, which you get on the vehicle also. And yes, it's grey because that's the only colour we seem to like in Ireland. GT versions also get the badge on the side, these slightly weird looking wheels because they don't match up. And the black housing over the wheel arches completes the whole look of the car with the grey. Obviously, it doesn't matter what powertrain you have, the vehicle is the same length either way. It does look quite like the 3008 because that's its baby brother or sister. This is the 7-seater version, so you have a 2.9 wheelbase, which gives you lots of internal space. Electric versions of the 5008 will tow 1,000 kilos of brake. The plug-in hybrid, which is not currently available in Ireland, will do 1,300. And even with the third row of seats up, there's still a very, very generous... What the hell are you doing in here? You can fit a child in the back.
Child actors aside, with the third row up, the boot is 348 litres. With the third row down, it's 916. You can fit things under the floor of the boot like the parcel shelf, and the middle row folds fully flat to give yourself a van-like space.
Bye-bye.
Get back to school. If you drop both rows of seats, you pretty much get a van with over 2,000 litres.
Yeah, that's good now. Is there room in this bad boy for kids to know?
Back at the 5008, well, the middle area, I'll show you the back in just a second. Actually, I've got a job for somebody. There's cutouts in the back of these seats. There's a totally flat floor. You get an armrest in the middle if you're not using all of the seats. And there's some climate control in this GT version. So you're well catered for. There are also cutouts even in the third row for taller passengers to fit in there, if that needs to be a thing. One thing that has massively changed in this version, and they had it in the last 2 versions, is that only the 2 outer seats are ISOFIX. There used to be 3 individual ISOFIX seats in a 5008. Peugeot, what were you thinking of getting rid of that? One big bonus, however, is that the middle seat can be dropped to fit longer items from IKEA or whatever, and you can still fit 2 people on the outer seats at the same time.
I'm not exactly tall, but if you're a kid like me, you should be able to fit just an inch of squeezing. On the negative side, there's nowhere to charge our devices. I mean, how are we supposed to play Roblox?
If you weren't a huge fan of this small steering wheel in the last model, well, bad news, it hasn't gone anywhere. Now, apparently with this new dash layout, taller passengers get a better commanding view of everything. But actually for us less tall people, I find it almost worse. You're really having to move this way down to get full view of the instruments. And you're like looking down on a steering wheel like this it's just a bit strange, but that's how I have to move it if I want to see it all. You get this kind of trap door that houses huge amounts of space down here, but then you have a separate armrest, couple of drinks holders, and one niggle is when you plug in CarPlay, which will work wirelessly. The outer sides of the screen loses the climate control. Now you can get a shortcut widget with these little bad boys down here, and they will also bring you there. And there's a wireless charging plate on the GT version. This material, I would get some sort of liquid repellent and spray it all over, because if you dribble some coffee or any kind of a drink here, it is going to get marked. It feels nice, it feels premium enough. Does it feel like from 51,000 euro? Debatable, but the last model was such a huge jump in aesthetics and the finish of it. It was always going to be a hard one to top, and they've just kind of kept that evolving nicely. There is an optional panoramic roof that you get as part of a package as well. Doesn't come in the GT version as standard. And you can time the charging and all the usual things that you might expect to do, the preconditioning to make the cabin warm on a cold morning. Another thing that has disappeared from this version of the car, on the last model, the passenger seat could fold forward, but it wasn't electric. So Peugeot said people prefer an electric seat over a forward folding seat, but this isn't electric. Go figure. Two things from a driver point of view that I really like. First of all, someone has put some thought into the boot and how stuff is stored in it, like the cables, because there isn't a frunk, although it looks like there could be a frunk. And this 360 overview camera is a big improvement on what Stellantis often do in cars, where it's kind of like this image that's falsely tracking the whole thing. This works really, really well. Now, as I mentioned, it's not quite a 100 brake horsepower increase, but it is 136 to 210 in the EV. And I just don't know why you wouldn't go EV with that in mind. And it's sluggish. It's like 10 plus seconds to 60 miles an hour, 100 kilometers an hour. This isn't exactly fast, but it's still 210, which is better than 136. I'm also very impressed by the lack of wind noise over the A-pillars, just the quietness in the cabin in general, and then the fuel efficiency. On the motorway today, I saw this car doing 12.9 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. And this version, don't forget, is not the long range. There is a dual motor, larger battery coming. But I think this 73 kilowatt hour will be enough for most people. It does weigh 500 kilos. It's a big jump on the hybrid version of the car. Is the 500 kilo extra weight as noticeable as something like in the Grandland with the hybrid versus the EV and that? I'm not entirely sure. The 5008 seems to be a little bit softer in how it's dampened, and suspension wise it's just maybe more suited for carrying people in comfort rather than into corners. Not to say the Grandland is like that either. It's not a performance vehicle by any stretch. But this is soft but comfortable, which is probably the most important thing when you're trying to transport up to 7 people. How fast this thing goes into bends is actually irrelevant. Another benefit of going electric over petrol is it's just relaxing. It's quiet. They're smoother cars. They're easier to navigate and stop-start traffic. I can't figure out why you'd want a petrol over electric when they're exactly the same price and you get more power in the electric. If you want to adjust the seat height, I like to be sitting down low, and it still has a very good view out the window. But when you raise up the seat, it really is like I thought I was driving a van at one stage. It's very, very high up, and if you like to sit like that, it offers a really good commanding view of the road ahead and great visibility all around. All the safety stuff is on board, the rear cross traffic monitoring, the frontal collision, blind spot, all the safety aids that will help and hopefully bring the cost of the car insurance on this car premium down. In the past from Stellantis, we've seen a B mode on the gear selector. Now there's paddles with 3 levels of regen on the 5008. And if you go for the most severe setting, it's pretty much one pedal driving, which is nice in a car of this size. And again, that adds to the relaxing feel. If you're not sure what that is, because you've never driven an EV before, you basically get resistance. So think of the motor going the opposite way now to slow the car down without you having to press on the brake pedal to bring the car to a halt. So again, it's one less thing for you to do as a driver, but you only get that in the EV version. Yes, it's more floaty than stiff, which I would take any day in a 7-seater, because carrying up to 6 people around with you, you want them to be happy. As long as they're happy, you'll be happy. Happy children in the car, happy driver up front. And breathe. It will be fine. They'll be back to school soon. One thing is for certain, this is now one of the best value 7-seaters on the market. That doesn't mean it hasn't had a price jump over the last model. Like everybody else selling cars today, that has definitely happened. It's now €51,000 starting from. But why would you not get an electric one when you can charge it for next to nothing at home? And I know it's nearly summertime, but judging by that fuel efficiency, you're definitely going to get 400 kilometers minimum out of this 73 kilowatt hour battery, and it'll do 160 kilowatt DC charging. Why would you pay for petrol? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you very much for coming with me this far in the video. If we've helped you narrow down the 5008 into your short list of cars you might consider liking and subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching. See you next time.